Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Indira Gandhi National Open University, it is a privilege and a matter of great pride for me to welcome you all to the 20th convocation of our university. My welcome goes out not only to the people present here, but also to all the people present at our regional centers who have gathered today to perform this magnificent ceremony. A convocation is a phenomenal milestone in the life of a university. It gives us an opportunity to pause for a moment and to reflect from where we started, where we are today, and where we aspire to be tomorrow. IGNOU was established with an aim to democratize higher education, and all of us today are proud of the fact that in a fairly short span of time, IGNOU has emerged as a growing center of excellence in all areas. And this is clearly demonstrated by our students and their achievements.
नमस्कार। इस समारोह में हम अपने सभी दर्शकों का स्वागत करते हैं। अभी आपको हमने जो हमारे क्षेत्रीय केंद्रों पर विशिष्ट अतिथि आए हुए हैं उनका परिचय दिया। हम लोग इस समय दिल्ली के मुख्य समारोह स्थल पर मौजूद हैं। ये समारोह स्थल संचार केंद्र के प्रांगण में बनाया गया है और जैसा कि आप देख सकते हैं एक विशेष पंडाल में तमाम विद्यार्थियों के बैठने की सुविधा हम लोगों ने उपलब्ध कराई है। अवसर है इंदिरा गांधी राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विश्वविद्यालय के 20वें दीक्षांत समारोह का। इस समारोह की अध्यक्षता प्रोफेसर आर नटराजन करेंगे, जो ऑल इंडिया काउंसिल फॉर टेक्निकल एजुकेशन के रिटायर्ड डायरेक्टर हैं और IIT मद्रास के भी रिटायर्ड डायरेक्टर हैं। हम लोग प्रोफेसर नटराजन की प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हैं और उनके आते ही ये समारोह शुरू हो जाएगा। तब तक हमारे साथ कुछ विद्यार्थी आए हुए हैं, हम उनसे आपका परिचय कराना चाहते हैं। एक बहुत ही विशिष्ट विद्यार्थी हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं यहाँ। उनका नाम है श्री दिनेश चंद्र शर्मा। श्री दिनेश चंद्र गुप्ता, क्षमा कीजिएगा। श्री गुप्ता की एक बहुत बड़ी विशेषता यह है कि वो शायद इस विश्वविद्यालय के वरिष्ठतम विद्यार्थी हैं। उनकी आयु 83 वर्ष है और 83 वर्ष की आयु में भी उन्होंने विश्वविद्यालय की डिग्री हासिल करने का निर्णय लिया। श्री दिनेश चंद्र गुप्ता हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं और हम आपसे उनकी बातचीत करवाना चाहते हैं। श्री दिनेश चंद्र गुप्ता ने MA हिंदी में यह डिग्री हासिल की है। नमस्कार गुप्ता जी। हमारे विश्वविद्यालय परिवार की ओर से और जो क्षेत्रीय केंद्रों पर सब लोग उपस्थित हैं उनकी ओर से आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। हम आपसे ये जानना चाहते हैं कि आपको विश्वविद्यालय की ये डिग्री लेने में किस बात से बहुत प्रेरणा मिली?
देखिए, पढ़ना मैं चाहता था। कारण ये था कि मैंने 1947 में MSc किया था फिजिक्स में प्रीवियस, और मेरी डिग्री पूरी नहीं हो पाई थी। इसका मुझे बड़ा क्षोभ था, दुख था। तो जब मैं 1985 में रिटायर हुआ स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया से, तब मैंने सोचा कि मैं अपनी डिग्री पूरी कर लूं। लेकिन अब नियम बदल गए थे। MSc 1947 में प्रीवियस किया था, फाइनल अब उन्होंने कहा नहीं हो सकता है। फिर मैंने दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय को अप्रोच किया कि मैं MA इंग्लिश में कर लूं। वहाँ भी उन्होंने मना किया कि चूंकि आपका BA ऑनर्स नहीं था इसलिए आप नहीं कर सकते हैं। फिर मैंने सोचा, मैंने 10 किताबें लिखी हैं हिंदी में, और एक किताब मेरी जो बुढ़ापा कितना मीठा कितना खट्टा, वो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सोशल वेलफेयर एंड एम्पावरमेंट ने सारे ओल्ड एज होम्स को सर्कुलेट की है।
हमारे यहाँ से आपने ये डिग्री हासिल करने की कब सोची?
मैंने जब वहाँ से मुझे मना हो गया और फिर मैं कुछ सोशल काम करने लगा, नेत्रदान वगैरह का, तो फिर मैंने सोचा मैं अपना ये काम करूँ पढ़ाई का। चूँकि हिंदी में मैं एक मैगजीन भी निकाल रहा था। तो फिर मैंने इंदिरा गांधी नेशनल ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी को अप्रोच किया और उन्होंने बड़ी कृपा की। उन्होंने कहा कि आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं। लेकिन हिंदी में सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत ये थी कि इसमें 11 पेपर्स होते हैं, साहित्य के हैं, उपन्यास है, कहानियां हैं, बहुत से पेपर्स होते हैं और मेरी पत्नी का देहांत 1993 में हो गया था। मैं अकेला था, अपने बच्चों के साथ रह रहा था। आप समझ सकते हैं अकेले आदमी की कितनी पीड़ा होती है।
गुप्ता जी, हम लोग ये पीड़ा समझ सकते हैं, पर हम इस बात में भी बहुत गौरव का अनुभव करते हैं कि आप अपने वरिष्ठ नागरिक होने के बाद भी आपकी विद्या अध्ययन में रुचि है, और विश्वविद्यालय परिवार की ओर से फिर आपको एक बार बधाई। धन्यवाद गुप्ता जी। जब तक ये एकेडमिक प्रोसेशन इस पंडाल में दाखिल होता है, उसके पहले डॉक्टर नीरा सिंह एक और विद्यार्थी से बातचीत करना चाहती हैं।
डॉक्टर साहब, प्रोसेशन आ रहा है अंदर। Ravin, procession is already.
I think the procession is already on its way, so we'll have to take this up later.
Please all stand up.
It takes time.
No, this is a regular convocation. Let the proper silence and discipline be
Could you tell me
maintained.
your name, please? What course have you? MA Economics. Wonderful, and you've got the gold medal for that. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. For the viewers, I must tell you that to commemorate the late Professor G. Ram Reddy, our former Vice Chancellor and the very pioneer of distance education in our country, IGNOU has instituted a gold medal, and here we have the recipient of that gold medal.
धन्यवाद। एकेडमिक प्रोसेशन पंडाल में दाखिल हो गया है। एकेडमिक प्रोसेशन की देने के लिए अपने स्थान पर खड़े हुए हैं। एकेडमिक प्रोसेशन में सबसे आगे हैं रजिस्ट्रार, उसके पीछे एकेडमिक काउंसिल और बोर्ड ऑफ मैनेजमेंट के अन्य सदस्य हैं, और जो हमारे विशिष्ट अतिथि हैं वो कुलपति के साथ एकेडमिक प्रोसेशन के सबसे अंत में होते हैं। यही एकेडमिक प्रोसेशन जब इस कार्यक्रम के समापन के बाद वापस लौटता है, तब ये क्रम जिसमें वे इस हॉल में दाखिल हुए थे, इस पंडाल में दाखिल हुए थे, वो क्रम परिवर्तित हो जाता है, और कुलपति और विशिष्ट अतिथि वापस लौटने वाले एकेडमिक प्रोसेशन की अगुवाई करते हैं, और बाकी सदस्य उनके पीछे पीछे वापस जाते हैं। इन सदस्यों के यहाँ पर बैठ जाने के बाद हम इस कॉन्वोकेशन की दीक्षांत समारोह की कार्यवाही शुरू कर देंगे। जब तक ये लोग अपने स्थान पर आसीन नहीं हो जाते हैं, आपसे आग्रह है कि आप अपने स्थान पर खड़े रहें। आप लोग कृपया अपने स्थान पर बैठ जाइए। हम इस कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत वंदन गीत से कर रहे हैं, और ममता श्रीवास्तव और मोहम्मद रफीक को हम आमंत्रित करते हैं कि वो वंदना प्रस्तुत करें।
हेलो हेलो हेलो।
का अंधेरा मिटा शारदा अपनी वीणा के तारों में मां शारदा
मैं विश्वविद्यालय के कुलसचिव श्री यूएस टोलिया को आमंत्रित करता हूं कि वो यहां आएं और इस समारोह की आगे की कार्यवाही का संचालन करें।
Vice Chancellor sir, I request you to declare the convocation open at the headquarters and at all the regional centers of the university and present the progress report of the Indira Gandhi National Open University. Thank you.
I declare the 20th convocation of Indira Gandhi National Open University open. Chief guest of the convocation, Professor R. Natarajan. Chief guest of the convocation of our regional centers across the country. Distinguished guests and invitees in the regional centers. Vice Chancellor Professor Om Prakash Mishra, Professor Prabir Shukla, Dr. Ravindra Kumar Chaudhary, Dr. Lata Pillai, Professor K.R. Srivatsan, members of the Board of Management, members of the Academic Council and the Planning Board, registrars, directors of schools, heads of divisions, recipients of the degrees, diplomas and certificates of the university in this convocation, members of the teaching and non-teaching staff of the university, invited guests, representatives from the printed and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen. It is my proud privilege to welcome you all to the 20th convocation of Indira Gandhi National Open University, at which over 1,37,000 learners will be receiving their degrees, diplomas and certificates. I thank Professor Natarajan, former chairperson of AICTE and former director of IIT Madras, a distinguished academic, for accepting the university's invitation to be the chief guest and for agreeing to deliver the convocation address. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present before you an overview, the customary Vice Chancellor's report of the activities and progress of the Indira Gandhi National Open University during the year 2008. Let me begin with a summary of some of the major accomplishments during this period. Indira Gandhi National Open University over the last 23 years has played a pivotal role in broadening educational training and capacity building for our dynamic and visible talent in the length and breadth of this country. It has adapted to the challenges of the fast-changing education sector and the increasing demand for a flexible learning framework. The university has emerged as a pioneering leader in the world in promoting lifelong learning. The university's distance learning programs have provided lakhs of working adults, rural men and women, much flexibility in pursuing their lifelong learning. During the last 1 year, Indira Gandhi National Open University has initiated a number of new activities. The most important achievement the university has reached during the last 1 year is the completion of the appointment of the core faculty for the 11 new schools which was started during the last 2 years. Another major activity which the Indira Gandhi National Open University initiated last year was the convergence scheme between the conventional open university system and the conventional university system and the open and distance learning institutions. This scheme was operationalized in March 2008. Its objective is to achieve the projected targets of the 11th plan for access to higher education by making optimal use of the strengths of the conventional and ODL system. The overall purpose of this particular scheme is to improve the quality of the teaching learning process in our conventional classrooms and to enhance the quantity of education delivery. Under this particular scheme, the university offers partnership in 4 forms to conventional institutions with a potential for excellence, under which learners of those institutions can simultaneously enroll for any IGNOU program that they are eligible for. The huge response to this scheme, about 10,000 learners in 359 conventional institutions till December 2008, shows the enthusiasm shown by the academics in the conventional university system for this particular activity. A new scheme which we have launched is another new scheme which we have launched during last year was the research and teaching assistantship. This again is a new scheme in the country, first of its kind in the country, to provide open and distance learning capability to a large number of postgraduate, bright young postgraduates whom we intend to train as prospective teachers for the open university system in the country. About 126 research and teaching assistants have joined. They are working in their own domain area of research. In addition to that domain area of research, they are also making use of open and distance learning capabilities, particularly the information and communication technology capabilities in enriching the knowledge and dissemination of education. Indira Gandhi National Open University has expanded also considerably during the last 1 year. We have started several additional new centers with the aim of developing the capacity of professionals and other workers in different sectors, be it in the corporate sector or teaching or those requiring vocational training. We have started a number of new centers across the country One is the Advanced Center for Informatics and Innovative Learning, looking at the capabilities of information and communication technology for the higher education sector. We have started education and training in the 5 geographic regions of the country. We have also started a Center for Research and Development in the Northeastern region, and we have started 5 Institute for Professional Competency Advancement of Teachers through ODL. And we have also started to cater to the requirements of agriculture and ICT capacity building in the area of agriculture, a new center for ODL in research and training in agriculture. Very recently, we have instituted one vocational education and training institute at Fulbani to provide education and employment in this SCST dominated region. These regions have more than 70% below poverty line sector and socially disadvantaged underprivileged sections of society. And in the technological sector, we have created enhanced technological access to our schools, our divisions, as well as the various regional offices and study centers across the country. The Gyan Darshan channels at Gyanvani Delhi were made available on several DTH platforms and are being webcast using part of the 48 Mbps internet bandwidth the university has acquired in the last 1 year. IGNOU Online, the gateway to the IGNOU Online programs, was also launched with a few programs like programs and four other new programs in the area of law, project management and related areas. IGNOU was awarded the Mandan Annual Award that honors the use of technology for socio-economic development conferred by the non-profit organization Digital Empowerment Foundation, which is an international organization. In November 2008, IGNOU has launched the SMS alert services for the students and staff of the university, an initiative to bridge the information gap between the learners and the university. The ODL Soft ERP of IGNOU's back office processes is being undertaken. Of an integrated database to all concerned. We have also started a to provide student support services in a much more efficient way. We have started walk-in admissions and online admissions for many of our programs. These schemes have been launched as initiatives to make admission procedures easier for potential learners. Under them, anybody interested in enrolling in most of the programs of the university can do it year-round by simply walking into the nearest regional center and filling up the form, or doing so through the IGNOU website and using the online payment facilities. The university initiatives of walk-in and online admissions, along with the convergence scheme and new academic offerings, have shown encouraging trends. In the last year, we have enrolled about 5,55,000 students. The cumulative student strength has crossed 2 million now, going 1 million exactly. That's about 15% of open university system, 13 open universities. 1/4 of the entire higher education enrollment is with the open universities in this country, and therefore the role of the open university system and the open and distance learning for providing the much required gross enrollment ratio, which is the target of the government of India, can be achieved only by providing quality open and distance learning program in our education institutions. This is a matter of great pride and great responsibility. We need to continue to strive for excellence in providing student support services, which we are committed to providing with our expansion plans. This expansion also requires faculty growth in support divisions too. For instance, more than 7,000 titles were added in the central and regional central libraries, and 7 new e-resources were added, and this With this, we have now a database with 185 e-books with access to all faculty and regional centers. Over the last 23 years, the university has developed a large number of programs ranging from purely academic to predominantly vocational, from the high-level postgraduate degrees to lower and from complex professional development programs to the more general awareness-building modules. These programs cater to the needs of a wide spectrum of society, ranging from the professionally qualified, semi-literate, from business managers to industrial workers, from the unemployed to the self-employed, male and female. In the period of report, the university launched about 40 new programs of diverse levels and kinds. Many more programs are under development by the 21 schools of studies, some with collaboration of other institutions. The university in the last year has also embarked on a policy of reaching out to learners who wish to study diverse Indian and foreign languages like Japanese, German, Indian languages like Maithili. We have also started a Center of Indian Languages, Modern Indian Languages, which is going to take shape quickly. A large number of diverse programs are being designed and developed by newly established schools of studies. The thrust on research was prominent among the activities of the university. Apart from the scheme of research and teaching assistantships, there are 43 learners enrolled in the PhD programs of the university. The faculty also undertook a number of research projects pertaining to systemic and discipline-based research. The university continued to provide support to several faculty and academic staff to participate in international conferences and seminars, and hosted several national and international conferences and workshops. The university is also the apex body for monitoring the distance learning system in the country. The Distance Education Council, established by IGNOU, undertakes the activities of coordination, maintaining standards, and funding of distance education institutes in the open universities as well as in the conventional universities in the country. The university has been promoting the independent initiatives of teachers, providing capabilities and providing facilities to all the teachers for developing new programs and new academic activities. To provide better access to the learners, the university has further expanded its outreach. In the period of report, the university has added 9 new regional centers: Goa, Chandigarh, Mumbai, Nagpur, Thiruvananthapuram, Noida, Vijayawada, Jorhat, and a 3rd regional center in Delhi. Besides this, around 300 new learner support centers have also been activated. The number of academic counselors has increased to about 40,000. We hope that the opening of these regional and learner support centers will improve access and quality support to learners in their studies. IGNOU has also expanded its reach overseas. The total enrollment of overseas students is now about 6,000. We have also started deliberating on new initiatives. The concept of community colleges is getting finalized. These colleges, of which there are more than 200 in India, are going to be accredited to award up to 2 years tertiary education. IGNOU plans to offer to the certification of these colleges, as well as offer its own associated program through a rigorous recognition procedure. Under the corporate education, IGNOU plans to extend consultancy services to the state governments and various universities for training in the use of new technologies and build human resources for the corporate sector. We have also started the assessment and accreditation of the distance education programs both in the public sector and the private sector. This is one of the important tasks the university has decided to undertake. The process has been initiated and the institutions are being encouraged to come forward with the information through self-assessment. The entire State Open Universities Vice Chancellors and the representatives of the distance education institutes in the conventional universities collaborated with the Indira Gandhi National Open University and Distance Education Council for the last 1 year to develop a full-fledged assessment and accreditation program which is going to be operational from next month onwards. We have also started credit transfer scheme in a more effective way. This scheme is being devised by DEC as part of its mandate for coordination of the distance education system. It is hoped that it will facilitate learner mobility across institutions. This scheme is envisaged to help learners of ODL as well as face-to-face teaching institutions. I have only given a brief overview of our work over the last year and some future plans. Let me end by congratulating all the candidates who are going to receive various degrees and diplomas today. My special congratulations to those who are receiving distinctions and medals. As you leave the portals of this university, I wish you all a bright future and better opportunities in your own field of operation. Before concluding, I once again thank our Chief Guest, Professor R. Natarajan, for his acceptance to be with us today. I appreciate and acknowledge the dedicated efforts of the Pro-Vice Chancellors, members of the Board of Management, the registrars, the finance officers, the directors of the schools, the heads of divisions and centers and units, members of the academic and research councils, planning board, and all other expert committees, and the entire teaching and non-teaching staff of the university in Delhi, as well as in their regional centers and study centers across the country. I once again congratulate all the fresh graduates who are going to receive degrees and diplomas here. I wish you the very best in your endeavors. Thank you very much. Let the candidates for the award of degrees and diplomas be presented.
The candidates for the Master of Arts in English, Master of Arts in Hindi, Bachelor of Arts, Postgraduate Diploma in Translation, Postgraduate Diploma in Radio Prasaran, Diploma in Creative Writing in English, and Diploma in Creative Writing in Hindi, please rise from your seats and remain standing till the presentation of the School of Humanities is over. Sir, I present to you 435 candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in English, 254 candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Hindi, 1,622 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, 7 candidates of Postgraduate Diploma in Translation, 9 candidates of Postgraduate Diploma in Radio Prasaran, 5 candidates of Diploma in Creative Writing in English, and 1 candidate of Diploma in Creative Writing in Hindi at the headquarters and at the regional centers, as well as 8,407 candidates in absentia whose names are given in the list, who have successfully completed the programs and have been found qualified for the award of the said degrees, diplomas. I request that degrees, diplomas be awarded to them.
The candidates for the Master of Arts in Political Science, Master of Arts in History, Master of Arts in Public Administration, Master of Arts in Economics, Master of Arts in Sociology, Master's degree in Library and Information Science, Master of Arts in Tourism Management, Master of Science in Hospitality and Hotel Administration, Bachelor's degree in Library and Information Science, Bachelor of Arts in Tourism Studies, Bachelor of Science in Hospitality and Hotel Administration, Postgraduate Diploma in Library Automation and Networking, Postgraduate Diploma in Disaster Management, and Diploma in Tourism Studies. Please rise from your seats and remain standing till the presentation pertaining to the School of Social Sciences is over. Sir, I present to you 258 candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Political Science, 166 candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in History, 60 candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Public Administration, 12 candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Economics, 180 candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Sociology, 59 candidates for Master's degree in Library and Information Science, 142 candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Tourism Management, 1 candidate for the degree of Master of Science in Hospitality and Hotel Administration, 156 candidates for the Bachelor's degree in Library and Information Science, 205 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Tourism Studies, 397 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Hospitality and Hotel Administration, 11 candidates for postgraduate diploma in Library Automation and Networking, 13 candidates for postgraduate diploma in Disaster Management, and 16 candidates for diploma in Tourism Studies at the headquarters and at the regional centers, as well as 6,278 candidates in absentia whose names are given in the list, who have successfully completed the programs and have been found qualified for the said degrees diplomas. I request that degrees diplomas be awarded to them.
The candidates for the Bachelor of Science, Postgraduate Diploma in Intellectual Property Rights, and Postgraduate Diploma in Environment and Sustainable Development, please rise from your seats and remain standing till the presentation pertaining to the School of Sciences is over. Sir, I present to you 301 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, 11 candidates for postgraduate diploma in intellectual property rights, and 22 candidates for postgraduate diploma in environment and sustainable development at the headquarters and at the regional centers, as well as 715 candidates in absentia whose names are given in the list, who have successfully completed the programs and have been found qualified for the award of the said degree diploma. I request that the degrees diplomas be awarded to them.
Of the candidates for the Master of Arts in Distance Education, Bachelor of Education, Postgraduate Diploma in Distance Education, Postgraduate Diploma in Higher Education, and Postgraduate Diploma in School Leadership and Management, please rise from your seats and remain standing till the presentation pertaining to School of Education is over. Sir, I present to you 5 candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Distance Education, 5,136 candidates for degree of Bachelor of Education, 17 candidates for postgraduate diploma in distance education, 3 candidates for postgraduate diploma in higher education, and candidates for postgraduate diploma in school leadership and management at the headquarters and at the regional centers, as well as 10,261 candidates in absentia whose names are given in the list, who have successfully completed the programs and have been found qualified for the award of the said degrees diplomas. I request that degrees diplomas be awarded to them.
The candidates are the Master of Arts in Rural Development, Master of Science in Dietetics and Food Service Management, Bachelor in Social Work, Postgraduate Diploma in Rural Development, Postgraduate Diploma in Journalism and Mass Communication, Postgraduate Diploma in Audio Program Production, Diploma in Nutrition and Health Education, Diploma in Early Child Care and Education, Diploma in HIV and Family Education, and Diploma in Women's Empowerment and Development. May please rise from your seats and remain standing till the presentation pertaining to the School of Continuing Education is over. Sir, I present to you 15 candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Rural Development, 5 candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Dietetics and Food Service Management, 21 candidates for the degree of Bachelor in Social Work, 57 candidates of Postgraduate in Rural Development, Postgraduate Diploma in Rural Development, 88 candidates of Postgraduate Diploma in Journalism and Mass Communication, 8 candidates of the Postgraduate Diploma in Audio Program Production, 31 candidates of the Diploma in Nutrition and Health Education, 93 candidates of the Diploma in Early Childhood Care and Education, 18 candidates of the Diploma in HIV and Family Education, and 1 candidate of Diploma in Women's Empowerment and Development at the headquarters and at the regional centers, as well as 502 candidates in absentia whose names are given in the list, who have successfully completed the programs and have been found qualified for the award of the said degrees and diplomas. I request, sir, that the degrees and diploma be awarded to them. Thank you.
The candidates for the Bachelor of Technology in Civil Construction Management, Bachelor of Technology in Civil Water Resources Engineering, Advanced Diploma in Construction Management, Advanced Diploma in Water Resources Engineering, Advanced Diploma in Computer Integrated Manufacturing, Diploma in Computer Integrated Manufacturing, Diploma in Civil Engineering, and Diploma in Electrical and Mechanical Engineering, please rise from your seats and remain standing till presentation pertaining to School of Engineering and Technology is over. Sir, I present to you 51 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Technology in Civil Construction Management, 2 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Technology in Civil Water Resources Engineering, 31 candidates for Advanced Diploma in Construction Management, 2 candidates for Advanced Diploma in Water Resources Engineering, 1 candidate for Advanced Diploma in Computer Integrated Manufacturing, 1 candidate for Diploma in Computer Integrated Manufacturing, candidates for Diploma in Civil Engineering, and candidates for Diploma in Electrical and Mechanical Engineering at the headquarters and at the regional centers, as well as 200 candidates in absentia whose names are given in the list, who have successfully completed the programs and have been found qualified for the award of the said degrees and diplomas. I request that degrees and diplomas be awarded to them.
The candidates for the Master's degree in Business Administration, Master's degree in Business Administration, Banking and Finance, Master's degree in Commerce, Commonwealth Executive Master's degree in Business Administration, Bachelor's degree in Commerce, Postgraduate Diploma in International Business Operations, Postgraduate Diploma in Operations Management, Postgraduate Diploma in Marketing Management, Postgraduate Diploma in Human Resources Management, Postgraduate Diploma in Financial Management, Postgraduate Diploma in Management, Diploma in Management, and Commonwealth Executive Graduate Diploma in Business Administration. Please rise from your seats and remain standing till the presentation pertaining to School of Management Studies is over. I present you 968 candidates for Masters in Business Administration, 68 candidates for Masters in Business Administration, Banking and Finance, 193 candidates for Masters in Commerce, 1 candidate for Commonwealth Executive Master's degree in Business Administration, 290 candidates for Bachelor's degree in Commerce, 171 candidates for Postgraduate Diploma in International Business Operations, 96 candidates for Postgraduate Diploma in Operations Management, 125 candidates for Postgraduate Diploma in Marketing Management, 253 candidates for Postgraduate Diploma in Human Resource Management, 147 candidates for Postgraduate Diploma in Financial Management, 668 candidates for Postgraduate Diploma in Management, 852 candidates for Diploma in Management, and 1 candidate for Commonwealth Executive Graduate Diploma in Business Administration at the headquarters and in the regional centers, as well as 22,022 candidates in absentia, whose names are given in the list, who have successfully completed the programs and have been found qualified for the award of said degrees and diplomas. I request that degrees, diplomas be awarded to them.
The candidates for the post-basic Bachelor of Science in Nursing, postgraduate diploma in Hospital and Health Management, postgraduate diploma in Maternal and Child Health, postgraduate diploma in Geriatric Medicine, postgraduate diploma in Clinical Cardiology, diploma in Nursing Administration. Please rise from your seats and remain standing till the presentation pertaining to School of Health Sciences is over. Sir, I present to you 253 candidates for the degree of Post-Basic Bachelor of Science in Nursing, 99 candidates for the Postgraduate Diploma in Hospital and Health Management, 52 candidates for the Postgraduate Diploma in Maternal and Child Health, 42 candidates for the Postgraduate Diploma in Geriatric Medicine, 19 candidates for the Postgraduate Diploma in Clinical Cardiology, and 13 candidates for the Diploma in Nursing Administration at the headquarters and at the regional center, as well as 634 candidates in absentia whose names are given in the list, who have successfully completed the programs and have been found qualified for the award of the said degrees, diplomas. I request that the degrees, diplomas may be awarded to them.
The candidates for the Master of Computer Applications, Bachelor of Computer Applications, Bachelor of Information Technology, Advanced Diploma in Computer Applications, Advanced Diploma in Information Technology, and Postgraduate Diploma in Computer Applications. Please rise from your seats and remain standing till the presentation pertaining to the School of Computer and Information Sciences is over. Sir, I present to you 2,385 candidates for the degree of Master of Computer Applications, 1,381 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Computer Applications, 143 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Information Technology, 826 candidates for Advanced Diploma in Computer Applications, 3 candidates for Advanced Diploma in Information Technology, and 812 candidates for postgraduate diploma in computer applications at the headquarters and at the regional centers, as well as 14,009 candidates in absentia whose names are given in the list, who have successfully completed the programs and have been found qualified for the award of the said degrees and diplomas. I request that degrees and diplomas be awarded to them.
The candidates for the diploma in value-added products from fruits and vegetables and diploma in dairy technology, please rise from your seat and remain standing till the presentation pertaining to the School of Agriculture is over. Sir, I present to you 6 candidates for the diploma in value-added products from fruits and vegetables, 11 candidates for the diploma in dairy technology at the headquarters and at the regional centers, including 91 candidates in absentia whose names are given in the list, who have successfully completed the programs and have been found qualified for the award of said diplomas. I request that diplomas be awarded to them. Thank you.
All candidates, please stand up and remain standing till the Vice Chancellor admits you to the degrees and diplomas.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor of Indira Gandhi National Open University, I award you the degree, diploma, and charge you to be worthy of the qualification that you have earned. My congratulations and best wishes to each and every one of you.
Sir, I present to you two candidates, Ms. Nisha Peshin and Ms. J.S. Dorothy, candidates of Doctor of Philosophy in the subject of education, who have successfully completed the PhD degree and have been found qualified for the award of the said degree. I request the degree be awarded to the candidates. Nisha Peshin. J.S. Dorothy.
Sir, I present to you Shri Surendra Singh Rana, candidate of Doctor of Philosophy in the subject of Political Science, who has successfully completed the PhD degree and has been found qualified for the award of the said degree. I request the degree be awarded to the candidate, Shri Surendra Singh Rana.
Sir, I present to you one candidate, Arundhati Mishra, of Doctor of Philosophy in the subject of Physics, who has successfully completed the PhD degree and has been found qualified for the award of the said degree. I request that the degree be awarded to the candidate.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Vice Chancellor of Indira Gandhi National Open University, I award you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the subjects of education, political science and physics, and charge you to be worthy of the qualifications that you have earned. My congratulations and best wishes to you. I request Professor R. Nadarajan, former Chairman of AICT and former Director IIT Madras, the Chief Guest of the day, to award the gold medals to the meritorious candidates to be presented by the Vice Chancellors.
Sir, I present to you the following candidates from the School of Humanities and School of Engineering and Technology for the award of medals, as they have been found meritorious. I request that the university medals be awarded to them. Juwairia Hashmi for Masters in English. International student Juwairia Hashmi. Asha Joshi for Masters in Hindi from Bhubaneswar. Anam Tariq, a Bachelor of Arts. Anam Tariq, Bachelor of Arts, international student. Kumari, PG Diploma in Translation, Lucknow. Shweta Kumari from Patna, postgraduate diploma in radio Prasharan. Shweta Kumari. Ms. Ritika Mathur from Pune for a diploma in creative writing. Now the gold medalist from the School of Engineering and Technology, Monomali Mohanto from Bhubaneswar. Monomali Mohanto. Devojyoti Sen. Devojyoti Sen. Santosh Kumar Singh. Mr. L. Linus. Mr. L. Linus from Bangalore.
Sir, I present to you the following candidates from the School of Social Sciences and the School of Management Studies for the award of the gold medals, as they have been found meritorious for the same. I request you to award the university medals to them. Ronita Das for the Masters in Political Science from Guwahati region. G. Vijay Lakshmi for the Master of Arts in History from the Ahmedabad region. Shradhanvita Singh, Masters in Public Administration from Delhi. Ritu Kataria, Master of Arts in Economics, the Delhi region. Ritu Kataria. Anjuman Gulati, Master of Arts in Sociology, again Delhi region. Delhi seems to have got quite a few. Atika Kaushik, Masters in Library Science. Atika, Masters in Library Science from Delhi region again. Virendra Thakur, Master of Arts in Tourism Management, Ahmedabad region. Veena Gandhi, Bachelors in Library Science, Delhi region. Priya Rani Srikumar from the Bangalore region, Bachelors in Tourism Studies. Jasleen Chawla from the Delhi region, Bachelors of Science in Hospitality and Hotel Administration. Geeta Luthra from Delhi region, PG Diploma in Library Automation and Networking. and Neha Sharma from the Shimla region, PG Diploma in Disaster Management. Now for the School of Management Studies, Pavitra Mohan Pradhan, the Bhubaneswar region, for the Masters of Business Administration. Rupa Khanna from the Dehradun region, Masters of Commerce. Jhingut Parinita. Yeah? Jhingut Parinita, international student for the BCom, Bachelors of Commerce. Simran Manku from the Lucknow region for the PG Diploma in International Business Operations. Mahesh Kukreja from the Karnal region for the PG Diploma in Operations Management. Devendra Kumar Tiwari from the Delhi region for the PG Diploma in Human Resource Management. Meenakshi PA from the Bangalore region for the PG Diploma in Management. Mona Mehta from the Delhi region for the PG Diploma in Marketing Management. And Abhishek Maheshwari for the Diploma in Management from the Delhi region. Thank you.
I present to you the following candidates for the School of Science and School of Health Sciences for the award of medal as they have been found meritorious. I request that the university medals be awarded to them. School of Sciences, Akshay Kumar, Bachelor of Science from Karnal region. Mohan N.H. Postgraduate Diploma in Intellectual Property Rights from Guwahati region. Kapil Mohan, Postgraduate Diploma in Environment and Sustainable Development from Shimla region. Now School of Health Sciences. Raj Kumari Singh, Bachelor of Science, Nursing from Delhi 1. Sangeeta Sagar, Postgraduate Diploma in Hospital and Health Management from Lucknow region. Pastry Matthew, postgraduate diploma in geriatric medicine from Bangalore region. And the last but not the least, Kavita Kumari, diploma in nursing administration from Khanna region. Thank you.
Sir, I present to you the following candidates from the School of Continuing Education and School of Agriculture for the award of medals as they have been found meritorious. I request that the university medals be awarded to them. School of Continuing Education, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Diman for Masters in Rural Development from Simla. Ms. Ishu for Masters in Rural Development from Delhi 1. Ms. Farah Deepa for MSc DFSM from Srinagar. Mr. Nitin Sharma for Bachelor's in Social Work from Delhi 1. Mr. Amar Krishna Seth for Postgraduate Diploma in Rural Development from Delhi 1. Mr. Bhuvnesh Kumar for PG JMC from Delhi 2. Amit Kamal from Delhi 1. Ms. Basirat Afreen from Bangalore. Mr. Amit Kumar from Lucknow. School of Agriculture, Nimi Ramachandran from Cochin. Mr. Dhananjay Singh from Delhi 1. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I present to you the following candidates from the School of Education and the School of Computer and Information Sciences for the award of medals as they have been found meritorious. I request that the university medals be awarded to them. NVK Durga Devi, Bachelor of Education, Ahmedabad. Jyoti Ranjini, PGD SLM, Kochi. Abhilasha Kumari, DPE, Ranchi. Naresh Yadav, MCA, International.
The recipient of the Professor Ram Reddy Memorial Medal for the highest aggregate marks in the master's degree programs in the social sciences goes to Ms. Ritu Kataria, MA in Economics. Sir, if you could present the gold medal. The Professor Grover Cash Award for the best among the physically handicapped students goes to Ms. Shishan Mukha for BCom. She is a BCom learner. Thank you.
Sir, I now invite on stage the recipient of Simca Cash Award of ₹10,000 for the best female student in the program related to information and communication technology, Namita Bajaj, MCA. Please. Thank you.
Sir, now I present to you Mr. Mithun Sharma, who is a gold medalist in the Bachelor of Social Work and will be in absentia and will be presented the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Cash Award of ₹10,000 instituted by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Please, Dr. Mr. Mithun. Thank you, sir.
Silver medal for best researcher for IGNOU, Dr. Raja Rao, for the social process of education, distance education studies and policies. Dr. Raja Rao.
Good evening, sir. On the basis of performance of the regional centers in providing support services to learners in the year 2008, the university has decided to give Best Service Award 2009 to IGNOU Regional Center Lucknow and IGNOU Regional Center Aizawl. Now may I request Dr. Amit Chaturvedi, Regional Director, IGNOU Regional Center Lucknow, to come and receive the award for Regional Center Lucknow. Now I request Dr. Zonantara, Regional Director, IGNOU Research Aizawl, to come and receive the award for the Regional Center.
Sir, to recognize and appreciate the services rendered by international partner institutions, thank you. Sir, to recognize and appreciate the services rendered by the international partner institutions, IGNOU has decided to institute Best Services Award to an international partner institution from this convocation. The award committee considered 5 international PIs amongst 52 for the purpose. On behalf of the award committee, I submit to you, sir, that the gold medal for best services to international partner institution is awarded to Gulf Center for University Education, Kuwait. Sir, I present to you Mr. Aloysius Martin, coordinator of the Gulf Center for University Education, Kuwait, to receive the gold medal on behalf of Center.
Mr. Bonawali Mohanto, the gold medalist from Bhubaneswar region in the School of Engineering and Technology. Bonawali.
Now may I request Professor R. Natarajan, former chairman of the ACT and former director of IIT Madras, to address the convocation. Professor Natarajan.
Esteemed Vice Chancellor Professor Rajashekaran Pillai, Pro-Vice Chancellors, members of the Board of Management, Academic Council, Deans, Heads of Departments, distinguished faculty members and staff, distinguished invitees, students and graduates. The graduates are the real chief guests of today. We have all gathered here today to honor them. At the outset, let me convey my heartiest congratulations to the graduating students. A convocation, to my mind, has 2 aspects of significance. One is a day of celebration by all the stakeholders, mainly the graduates, the students, the faculty, the university, for whom it is the accomplishment of the mission to provide quality education and employability, and for the parents, for whom it's a return on investment, for those of you who are young graduates. It's also a day of thanksgiving. I think each of the stakeholders must thank the other for creating an opportunity to add value to their lives. IGNOU has been rendering human service to its wide range of stakeholders since it was established in 1985 by providing qualitative improvement and quantitative expansion of the higher education system in the country. This open university has been successfully developing, delivering and promoting innovative educational, training and capacity building programs and tools in collaboration with academic and industrial partners in the country and all over the world. IGNOU has been recognized as a world-class university worthy of emulation by other countries. I consider myself very privileged to address this convocation. The dynamic leadership provided by Professor Rajashekaran Pillai, the Vice Chancellor, has largely contributed to the significance and excellence of your institution. I have had over the years considerable engagement with IGNOU. For example, I was a member of the committee under VC Kulandeswamy when IGNOU wanted to start some bachelor's program in technology. The 2 programs that were started at that time were the BTech program in construction management and the BTech program in water resource engineering. Now you also have advanced diplomas. I also was the leader of the team when Dr. Vijay Mandke was the head of the School of Engineering and Technology for developing resource materials in thermodynamics. We can write textbooks, but if you want to develop resource materials for IGNOU, you have to work much harder. I want to look at a few aspects which will make an impact on the future of our graduates. This century has been characterized as a special century. The reason for that is it has several distinguishing characteristics. Let's try to analyze what they are. The 21st century is characterized by significant impact of technology on many things: education, industry, commerce, lifestyle, entertainment, and society. Emergence of knowledge industry, economy, and society, demand for mass education, widening of disparities between countries and regions. This is characterized as divides: technology divide, digital divide, education divide, prosperity divide, and so on. Increased uncertainty and lower predictability resulting from accelerating change. The potential of technology and ICT for enhancing the effectiveness of learning, changing employer-employee loyalty relationships, globalization, internationalization, market economy, and emphasis on continuous professional development. If you look at the 21st century learners and teachers, there is at least one generation gap between them. It's also important to recognize that the 21st century learners are deep, very different from what we were as students. Most of them have never navigated with the slide rule, which was the hallmark of an engineering student in those days. They have never traveled in a steam engine. They have never handwritten a letter. It's all clicks and keyboard operations. They have never known a world without computers. In fact, today's school age generation knows more about technology than do their teachers. Young kids get bored if they are doing only one function at a time, and they are very adept at multitasking. For example, we have seen our kids watch their computer screens, listen to music through headphones, and carry on conversation all at the same time, and if we don't like it, they're annoyed. Today's kids have short attention spans and experience a technologically saturated childhood. Unlike adults, they are not surprised by new technology. They simply integrate it into their lives. They would want to collaborate with their teachers and bosses, not take orders from them. If you divide the period from 1900 into 4 periods, 4 generations, the matures, which are supposed to be born during 1900 to 1946, the first half of the century, the baby boomers born during 1946 to 64, this is some arbitrary definition, Generation X born during 1964 to 1982, and Generation Y or Generation Net, the net savvy generation born since 1982. Over a period of a century, the teaching style, how the teachers used to teach the youngsters, has undergone a transformation from originally the lecture, which is primarily verbal and rote for matures, to interactive, even in large classes, and problem-based with feedback via clickers and online software for Generation Y. If you look at the learning styles, they have also changed. They have changed from memorize, try again and again for matures, to simulations, frequent interaction with faculty and peers, and open-ended for Generation Y. This we have to take into consideration in designing pedagogical strategies for teaching these learners. The 21st century learners have some unreasonable expectations, however. There are some myths which the elders have to explore. For example, they believe that learning is easy, requires no effort. Access to information is the same as acquisition of knowledge. Acquisition of knowledge and skills is more important than experience. Like instant food, there is instant knowledge, instant skills, instant experience. And finally, prosperity requires no hard work or commitment. They are prepared to take shortcuts, which in the long run is really not a good thing. The 21st century teachers, therefore, have a whole new range of roles and responsibilities. It is said that the whole notion of teacher as disseminator of knowledge is turned on its head. In the old scenario, the teacher was the boss. In the new scenario, the teacher becomes the facilitator. The cliche is that the teacher is no longer the sage on the stage, but the guide on the side. The teacher is becoming less central, in fact, to the learning process. A moot question: will information technology, like what of educational replace teachers? Can the teachers be replaced? Make them superfluous? It's been said that any teacher who can be replaced by technology deserves to be replaced.
Basically what it means is that you're not doing the role that technology plays, you have new roles. Now I would like to examine the spectrum of technology choices and tools available for enhancing the effectiveness of learning and expanding the reach of education. If you want to expand the system, technology is of utmost importance. If you want to scale up, it is nothing but technology which can help you do that. It's not the conventional classrooms. Now let us take a look at the role and significance of educational technology. The term educational technology has been interpreted in two ways: technology in education and technology of education. Technology in education is the means, while the technology of education refers to the core of what the end should be, which is student learning, how it occurs and how technology may be deployed to enhance learning. In educational technology, the role of the teacher will be expected to be quite different from what it is in traditional classroom teaching. In the traditional classroom teaching, the teacher has served several roles. He is the author, he is the playwright, he is the actor, he is the director, with the actor's role assuming the major significance. While in educational technology, he will be more of a director and a coach or facilitator. It's also necessary to recognize that it is, as is the case with appropriate technology, which is technology which is suitable for the local needs, culture, resources, and so on, we also need appropriate educational technology for achieving success through strategies which should take into consideration the local needs, circumstances, and resources. With special reference to technical education, there is at least two ways in which technology provides inputs to technical education. The accumulated knowledge and experience of the various types and forms of technology add to the content of technical education which needs to be transmitted to contemporary students. Technical education, like all education, is about teaching and learning, and there are several technologies which can improve the effectiveness of the teaching and learning processes. For example, IT, ET, Internet, and so on. There is therefore a reciprocal relationship between technology and technical education. It is firmly believed by many educators that the full potential offered by educational technology, media, and devices is yet to be realized. It has been observed that in the rush to promote alternative learning methods, many developers of ET, TEL, technology-enhanced learning, and WBT, web-based training, have not targeted appropriate outcomes for these improved delivery methods. ET, TEL, and WBT, in fact, are often defined as just another kind of deliverable instruction, like any other training product that provides basic content and skills. It is pointed out that industry and educators need to conceive of ET, TEL, and WT against the more expansive backdrops of distributed knowledge systems such as the Internet and cognitive processes of learners in hypertext environments. TEL developers in both industry and education need to collaborate with each other more extensively to redefine learning in digital environments. Let's look at multimedia technologies. Studies on the theories of learning have demonstrated that more than one sensory channel dramatically improves comprehension and learning. The hypothesis, which has been indicated for a long time, namely, I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. This is vindicated by the use of new technologies. While the simultaneous use of more than one presentation medium may qualify to be termed multimedia, in common use it excludes conventional combinations such as audiovisual, chalk and talk, and so on, and requires a computer to be employed in some capacity or another. Multimedia combines the impact of TV with the power of personal computing to create applications which are efficient, direct, personal, and interaction. Now let's examine the role of computers in education because they are so ubiquitous. There appears to be a niche for computers in education arising out of its unique features. There is a set of terms for employing them effectively in this role. The first point is that computers are generally preferred educational activities which require significant interaction, as for example games and simulations. Therefore, instructional software should be highly interactive. Interactive learning environments are referred to as intelligent tutoring systems. Due to the interactive capability, computers are well suited to provide individualized and self-paced instructions. This is one of the most important advantages. The instructional materials may be customized to meet various student needs. CAL, computer-aided learning, meets the needs of both formal education and continuing education. Computers are particularly good for explaining complex processes and interactions through the use of animation and graphics.
computers should not be employed for replicating what other media can do as well or better. For example, video is good for showing real dynamic sequences, and printed matter is best for presenting a lot of text or graphical information. Therefore, computer screens should not be designed to resemble printed pages, and animation should not be employed as a substitute for video sequences. Computers should be seamlessly integrated into the general educational process. Should not be incentive to learning by requiring considerable effort in utilizing it. It's instructive, and I'm using to compare the traditional method of instruction and CAL in some ways. In keeping with the trend to employ acronyms in this area, the former is termed BAI, Book Assisted Instruction, or TAL, Teacher Aided Learning. Book is, you can define as a permanent reservoir and private display device for reference information, while the blackboard is a temporary storage place and public display device for new information to students. There are other ways of looking at other media also. The computer is not the panacea for all problems in education, just as TV-based instruction or instructional TV was not the answer to all pedagogical problems in the 70s and the 80s. The computer, of course, cannot be blamed for the unwarranted expectation that it would make learning easier. Some limitations to the use of computers in education have been pointed out. For example, computer-aided learning causes the students to be inclined toward trial and error rather than deeper analysis. Till very recently, computers were seldom used in subject areas such as reading, math, or science. They were largely confined to computing classes. A word about digital libraries. Digital libraries are emerging as the most cost-effective way to preserve and distribute an ever-increasing stock of information resources. They offer solutions to two of the most serious challenges facing traditional libraries today. One is economic survival, and the second is preservation of library materials. As cost of books and journals increase and the amount of available information explodes, traditional libraries tend to collapse. Brian Hawkins of Brown University, in his paper, The Library of the Future, says, incrementalism won't get us there. The traditional library will not scale into the next decade or the next century, he said. The digital library provides universal access by students and faculty to information in all possible media via a single multifunction workstation. Hawkins also proposes that the library of the future will be less a place where information is kept than a portal through which students and faculty will access the vast information resources of the world. It's not a reservoir, but it is a window. A few words about the technology-enhanced learning. The objective of technology-enhanced learning is to enhance the way the students learn concepts, to enhance the learning component, and to reduce the tedious and mechanical aspects of some of the current learning methods through the use of technology in a variety of forms. The field of technology-enhanced learning describes the support of any learning activity through technology. TEL is often used synonymously with another word, which is e-learning, even though there are differences. The main difference between the two expressions is that technology-enhanced learning focuses on the technological support of any pedagogical approach that utilizes technology. An aspect that is especially crucial for science and technology education is technology-enhanced laboratory instruction. Several difficulties are experienced in traditional lab instruction. Lab equipment and instrumentation are often very expensive. Usually it is necessary to have multiple modules of the same hardware to accommodate all the students in a class. As equipment and instrumentation age and they become obsolete, they need to be replaced by more modern and advanced versions, which are usually much more expensive. Much of the time the students spend in the lab is occupied with things other than taking measurements. The web-based experimental paradigm is typically deployed by both traditional and open universities, essentially for enhancing the offerings of didactic resources designed to strengthen hands-on practice in engineering education. There is a taxonomy of these virtual labs. One is called virtual experimentation, which corresponds to simulation, and the other is remote experimentation, which involves manipulation over the internet at distance laboratory equipments. Most of the educational applications of web-based experimentation optimally integrate both these types of virtual and remote experimentation. Let's now examine the role of the web towards flexible education. The traditional university and the open university are converging. our Vice Chancellor pointed this out, in their educational processes. Open universities are increasingly employing the web to supply online material that was previously delivered through postal correspondence. Traditional universities are also progressively making more of their teaching resources available through the internet. These trends are leading towards the evolution of a hybrid teaching environment where the lectures and the lab facilities of traditional curricula are combined with online lectures or sessions and online accessibility to lab facilities. This type of scheme is referred to as flexible education. What about e-learning? Electronic learning or e-learning is a type of technology-supported education or learning where the medium of instruction is computer technology, particularly involving digital technologies. E-learning has been defined as pedagogy empowered by digital technology. Proudly, let us talk about India's pioneering and path-breaking initiatives in technology-enhanced learning. The 21st century has seen many shining examples of India's achievements and accomplishments in a wide variety of fields, which has caused the world to sit up and take notice. In space, what we have done, nuclear power, IT, ITES and BPO, cricket, at the moment we're a little bit down, tennis, Olympics, and most recently Hollywood Oscar Awards. And last but not the least, education through the efforts of ISRO, IITs, Prasar Bharati, UGC, AICT and the university system. I'll discuss some of those things here. First of all, the satellite-based education in India. EduSat is the first satellite built exclusively for serving the educational sector. It is mainly intended to meet the demand for an interactive satellite-based distance education system for the country. It strongly reflects India's commitment to use space technology for national development, especially for the development of the population in remote and rural locations. The Ekalavya Technology Channel is a distance learning joint initiative between the IITs and IGNOU and was inaugurated on 26 January 2003. The objective of the initiative is to bring to the audience the actual IIT classrooms virtually at their doorsteps. It's a channel dedicated to technical education and runs programs generated at different IITs. It used to be a 16 hours per day channel. I understand it is now a 24-hour channel since 2003. We have an extremely effective national program. This is the NPTEL, National Program in Technology Enhanced Learning. The main objective of the NPTEL program is to enhance the quality of engineering education in the country by developing curriculum-based video and web courses. This is being carried out by 7 IITs and the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, as a collaboration project. In the first phase of the project, supplementary content for 129 web courses in engineering, science, and humanities have been developed. Each course contains materials that can be covered in depth in 40 or more lecture hours, a full course. In addition, 110 courses have been developed in video format, with each course comprising approximately, again, 40 or more one-hour lectures. The next phase, other institutions are also likely to participate in content creation. M-learning, this is a new word. The Indira Gandhi National Open University and the Communications Manufacturing Association of India are concentrating on providing educational content to students via text, audio, and video on mobile phones, just as you see in the advertisement. Appearing for exams on the mobile is also an option in the pipeline if all goes well. As far as the working model is concerned, CMAI has said that they will try to subsidize it with revenues from advertising. IGNOU estimates that their mobile education campaign will have 25 million students in 2009 and double that number the following year. One aspect that needs looking into is the delivery of content. While text and audio content can be easily delivered to most phones, distributing video content would require a student to have a video feature compatible phone. This could be expensive. In employing technology solutions for education, as IGNOU is doing, the issues of access, equity, affordability, and quality, which is already present in conventional education, they get enhanced and exacerbated. Let's look at a few of these issues. First of all, the digital divide. What is a digital divide? There are many definitions. It refers to the gap between those who have access to information technology and those who do not. The widening gap in both dial-up and broadband access. Colin Powell characterized the gap between those who have access to the wonders of digital technology and the internet and those who do not as digital apartheid. A caution that what is at stake is today's technology have-nots, especially the young, and whether they may find themselves marginalized for life because they lack the skills and tools to participate in our globalized knowledge-based economy. New technology magnifies the gap between the information rich and the information poor. It widens the digital divide. There are limitations to the use of internet technologies. Internet technologies and technology in general do not represent a silver bullet that will solve all social and economic problems. Former US President Clinton said, technology can be the greatest equalizing force our society or any other has ever known. If we really want to solve the world's inequities, we should direct our efforts towards key issues that mattered before the advent of high technology, such as, for example, economic growth. Education is probably the most important issue that affects the ability to benefit from technology. Unless people can read and understand what they find on the internet, all the computers and networks in the world won't be of much use. A few words about the combined importance of educational technology, information technology, technology-enhanced learning, and what is the future of education. Andrew Odlyzko of AT&T Labs has explored the role of technology in shaping the future of education and the place of teacher in this scenario. Education is many times recognized to be primarily a process of getting students to absorb new ideas and ways of thinking, and requires extensive social interaction. Even if future 3D holographic projections and high bandwidth networks could make distance learning so effective that live lectures could be phased out, teachers would still be employed to provide interactive instruction. Technology can replace some teachers in the present roles. Hence, if all we cared about was to reproduce what the current system does, we could indeed operate with fewer people. However, we are unlikely to do that. New demands will arise to take up this slack. There has always been a desire for more personal attention from teachers and could be met. The main reason for expecting more cutbacks in teacher ranks is that human contact is valued very highly. When people reminisce about their school days, teachers are mentioned far more frequently than textbooks or buildings. Close human contact appears to improve the perceived quality of instruction, whether that improves test performance or scores or not. He asks a question: if every institution, Harvard, which is ranked number one by many ranking lists, if every institution uses the same holographic projections of the world's best lectures and has access to the same digital libraries, how will Harvard differentiate itself? What would it be best known for? The most likely answer is through stress on the quality of its teachers in their other roles. As I pointed out earlier, technology cannot replace teachers in many essential roles. So what will be the future goal of education, and how do we prepare students for the future? If education were a simple matter of teaching the 3 R's, now they are adding a fourth one, recess, the 4 R's, the future might be different. However, we do not even have a clear idea of what education is supposed to accomplish. Education is supposed to prepare an individual for life, but we do not have a clear model of how it does that. With rapid change, we do not even know what life to prepare for. What are some implications of the recent economic meltdown for technical education, in general for education, but essentially for technical education? It's seen that manpower requirements of almost all industries are being scaled down. Already job cuts and reductions in fresh hiring are taking place. The employability, which is the preparation and suitability of the engineering graduates for the profession, is reported to be of the order of only 25%. Only 25% of the graduates we produce are suitable for employable positions. This therefore requires industries to invest time, effort, and money to get the fresh hires industry ready. They have to invest time, they have to invest effort, they have to invest money. Because of these two factors, the competition for jobs is going to become severe, and industry will become much more selective and choosy in those they hire. These higher industry expectations will demand much more quality and employability in the graduate attributes. Technical institutions must therefore redesign their systems and processes. Business as usual is not going to work. I would now like to give the graduates some tips from thought leaders for achieving success and happiness in life. You realize that these two words are not the same, are not identical. Success and happiness are not identical. Happy people, all happy people are not successful. All successful people are not happy. Therefore, there is a combination, a golden mean we look for in terms of happiness and success. So what are these tips that have been given? Dare to dream. Keep on dreaming, wake up. And when you wake up from the dream, strategize and slog to transform the dream into reality. This is Azim Premji's statement. I've slightly modified it. Again, Azim Premji says, always strive for excellence. In the world of tomorrow and with globalization, when the whole world is competing with us, just being good is not enough. You have to have excellence. Be generous with money, but stingy with your time, says Nandan Nilekani. Another person has said, the perfect job like the perfect spouse does not exist. Therefore, we have to live with what we get. The key to success in today's rapidly changing job markets is to not just work hard, but to work smart. So these are several implications. One has to study them. Be realistic in your expectations. Lastly, be honest. Never bluff. Indeed, honesty is the best policy. In conclusion, therefore, I want to point out that all in all, we are confronted with a host of emerging challenges and opportunities, for dealing with which we need to re-engineer our overall educational system, such as, for example, promoting interactive, collaborative, and active learning. The shrinking of the world into a global village has both positive and negative features, as we are finding out. The future holds for you, therefore, an exciting and challenging array of problems that have to be solved, and prospects, opportunities. I would like to take this opportunity to wish all of you all success in your personal and professional lives. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Now I will request the Vice Chancellor, sir, to declare the convocation closed.
I declare the convocation closed at the headquarters. The function will continue at all regional Sundays as per their program. Thank you very much.
आप सबसे अनुरोध है कि राष्ट्रगान में हमारे साथ सम्मिलित हों।
नायक जय है भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा जागे हिंद हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल शुभ नामे जागे शुभ आशीष मांगे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 जय।
धन्यवाद। एकेडमिक प्रोसेशन कार्यक्रम समाप्त हो गया है, वापस जाएगा। आप सम्मान देने के लिए कृपया अपने स्थान पर खड़े रहें।
University. A mega university pioneering distance education. Reaching out to students in 32 countries. Internationally recognized as a center of excellence. 183 programs. A student strength of more than 1.85 million, all making it the largest single university in the world. Now getting ready to host the 20th IGNOU Convocation to award nearly 20,000 students from 37 regional centers, awarding doctorates, degrees, diplomas and certificates for 88 programs. A day of recognition and coming together of hard work and faith of students, supported by a dedicated team of IGNOU's facilitators. The beginning of a new journey where, armed with knowledge, confidence and dynamism, enlightened minds will apply learning to practice. The 20th IGNOU Convocation, to be held on the 28th of February 2009.